All right, players. So we are about at the midpoint of the season, a little bit more than the midpoint of the season. And so, like I did in the fall, I wanted to give you some statistics on what we're doing that maybe will help you to understand what we're doing as a team, but also when you're watching either a game live or on television, maybe it'll help you kind of understand more of what you're watching and hopefully enjoy the game a little bit more. And this can help anybody, parents, siblings, anybody who wants to watch if they're wanting to learn more about the game of baseball. And so, what I'm going to do, like in the fall, I'm going to go over some of our statistics, and then I am also going to compare our wins and our losses because there's a lot of interesting kind of differences between wins and losses. Maybe that'll help people understand a little bit more about what we're talking about in some of our pre and post game talks. So let's get started. So far, we've played 18 games. We have played 21 all competitions because remember, we've had two inter squad competitions and one banana ball style game, which didn't go into the standings or the win loss record. So far, as we sit right now, out of the 18 games, we are 9-8-1. We have 9 wins, 8 losses, 1 tie. So PA, remember, PA is plate appearances. That's how many times we go to the plate. Every time we go to a plate. And we've gone to the plate so far 440 times. At bats, an at bat is every time a player goes to the plate, excluding things like walks and hit by pitches and sacrifice flies. Okay, so we have 312 at bats, 440 plate appearances, 312 at bats. So far, we've seen 1,706 pitches. We have 137 hits as a team. We have 164 runs as a team, and all of this, as indicated, is all of these statistics include all competitions, so the 21 competitions, not just the 18 games. As far as RBIs or runs batted in, we've hit in 123 runs batted in. We've struck out as a team 79 times. We have 30 looking strikeouts. So that's something that 30 looking strikeouts, you want that number closer to 15 or even below so that we're doing a good job not looking at those third strikes. Because as I said, a lot of times we're not facing pitchers who are hitting corners that are fooling us or throwing curveballs that would fool people. A lot of times those third pitches are right down the middle, and we're just looking at them. We're being indecisive. As a team, we have 112 walks so far. Our batting average is 439, which means that is the um, the the number of hits we have divided by the number of at bats we have. So 137 divided by 112 is how you get 0.439. It also means about 44% of the time we are getting on base by a hit. Okay. OB is on base percentage. That's 601. So that means 60% of the time we're actually getting on base. Now, again, some of this includes like the competitions that we had. So where we're trying a few things out and we're trying to get ready to go. So that would factor into some of this as well. Our slugging percentage is 590. So slugging percentage accounts for the number of bases reached on a hit divided by at bats. So for that particular player, um, let's say they get a single, it's worth 1 hit. A double's worth 2 hits. A triple's worth 3 hits. A home run's worth 4 hits. Okay. And then it's divided by the number of at bats. OPS is on base plus slugging percentage. And it's a measure that combines um, those two factors. And it really is a more accurate offensive statistic that is being used right now. So our OPS is 1.191. Okay. QAB quality at bats so far in the season, we have 296 quality at bats, so that's pretty good. So ISPO and ISPR, that's what I want to talk about. These are the new statistics that I talked about at the beginning of the spring season, and they're really, really fun statistics that I'm glad I came across. So ISP is impact slugging percentage. So an impact slugging percentage is just like a slugging percentage, except you get credit for all bases moved. So whereas in slugging percentage, you only get credit for the number of bases you move, impact slugging percentage, you would get base for somebody that's on second, somebody that's on third, somebody that's on first. So basically, let's say the highest impact slugging percentage number you could get for an at bat is 10. That's if the bases are loaded and you hit a home run because you would get four bases for yourself. The person on third, you would get three bases. The person on second, you would get two bases. The person on third, you get one base. Okay, so you have 10 total bases moved if you hit a grand slam, and which we have had this year. Um, so what's really, really good about this statistic, though, is let's say we have a runner from second on second. Somebody grounds out. So they ground out at first, and that just goes as a let's say it's a 4-3 put out. That goes as a 4-3 put out for them. Okay, so it counts against their batting average. However, let's say that runner from second is able to move to third. Well, the batter still gets credit for moving one base because they moved somebody from second to third. So they moved one of their teammates from on base. And so this is a really good statistic to me, especially at this age. So everybody can understand the impact that you are having. Just because you might ground out, maybe we get an RBI off of that, and that's great, and that does show up in the stats book. But typically, like if you move a runner from first to second or second to third, it's or from first to third on a single. That number doesn't really show up in the stats book. This will with ISP. So what I've done is ISPO is the impact slugging percentage overall. So that's just every time that we've gotten up to bat. That's an at bat, not a plate appearance, an at bat. So walks, hit by pitches, those don't count. Um, and MISPR is impact slugging percentage when there are runners on base. So anytime that you've come up to the plate or come up to bat with runners on base, um, anything counts other than if you have been walked or if you've been hit by a pitch. Okay. So our ISPO, our impact slugging percentage overall is 1.586. What I can tell so far and looking at everything is if we're above like kind of that 1.2 mark, that's a pretty good mark for ISP. And then our ISPR or our impact slugging percentage with runners on base is 1.934. So basically what that means is every time somebody comes up to base or comes up to bat, we are moving ourselves about one and a half, almost 1.6 bases. I know that seems a little weird. With runners in scoring position, we are almost averaging or averaging almost two bases an at bat. So that's pretty good that we're able to move over bases. Either we're moving somebody from first to second or first to third. We're getting on and we're moving somebody on base. That's a pretty good thing. Again, what I could tell so far is if we're above that 1.2 mark, I think we're doing pretty well. I'll know more as I am able to kind of get more statistics and look into it a little bit more over the rest of the season and into next season. And then C plus is our contact percentage. This is a really cool statistic that Game Changer gives. It's basically the percentage of time that a ball is put into play while batting. So it doesn't count foul balls. But it does count outs, it counts hits, things like that. So our contact percentage is 74.68. So almost 75% of the time, or almost three-fourths of the time, we are putting the ball into play to either get a hit or make us get us out. Okay, so that's pretty good. I think we want that number as high as you can get. That number is great. The things that kind of concern me, out of 18 games, we have 79 strikeouts so far. We want that number to come down. We definitely want our looking strikeout number to come down. Or what I should say is over the rest of the season, we don't want to, after the next 14, 16 games or whatever that we're going to play, we don't want to have another 79 strikeouts to add to this, 30 looking strikeouts to add to this. We want those numbers to be lower that we're going to add. And we would like to see when, our walks, we have more walks than strikeouts, which is really, really good. Okay. And our batting average is pretty good. Our on base slugging percentage, all of that's pretty good. Okay. So then next, overall, our pitching and fielding, so this is all games, all competitions, we've had 10 pitchers appear. Okay, so we've had 10 different people appear to make pitching appearances. Out of that, we've had 46 appearances. So that's, let's say somebody goes and they get into 7 games. Well, that's 7. The next person gets into 5 games. That's 5. So that's 12. So that's how you get to, even though we've played 18 games, that's how you get to 46 appearances. We have thrown 1,553 pitches. Now, what's really good is we have seen 1,706 pitches. We have thrown fewer than 100 or more, I'm sorry. We have seen more than 100 pitches than we have thrown, which is a sign that we are being more selective at the plate. And in certain days, we're doing really well, being efficient with our pitches and in the field. We've pitched 61.2 innings. We have faced 398 batters. So BF is batters faced. So we've faced 398 batters. We've given up 84 hits. Again, we have 137 hits to the 84 hits that we've given up. That's pretty good. And then the opponent average against us is 271. So about 27% of the time, our opponents are getting on base via a hit. Okay. As pitchers, we've struck out 91 people, so slightly more than the number of times we've struck out. And we have 33 looking strikeouts that we have tallied. Again, slightly above the number that we have struck out when we are at bat watching. We've given up 76 walks, so that's pretty good. More, we have 30 more walks as a team than we've given up, so that's encouraging. We've given up 136 runs, and some of this will make sense when we look at the comparison of the wins and the losses and ties. That we've given up 136 runs. We have given up 67 earned runs, so that means our ERA is 6.52. So ERA it's a little bit different. It's a little bit difficult to calculate, especially at this stage or at this age. But basically, an ERA is the number of earned runs divided by innings pitched and then multiplied by 9, because a typical game is 9 innings. So our typical games are not 9 innings. Our typical games, we've played 3, we've played 4 sometimes. But an ERA is calculated by using 9 innings. Okay, so the number of earned runs we have divided by the number of innings we've pitched. So 67 earned runs divided by 61.2. And then you take that number and you divide it by 9. That's how you get the ERA. So basically, we are giving up about 6.5 runs a game that are earned runs. Our pitchers are giving up 6.5 earned runs per game. So that doesn't include errors and things like that. Our WHIP, our WHIP, that is walks plus hits per inning. And this is a measure of how many base runners you put on per inning. Our number as a team is 2.60. Ideally, you want that number to be 1 or lower. Like at high college, or I'm sorry, high school, college level. If anybody, they want people to be under a 1, right about a 1 or under for a WHIP, and that's really good. So this last column, there's a lot of information in here, so I'll explain it. TC, this is a fielding column. So show us how our fielding is. TC is total number of chances. Assists is A. A PO is a putout. An error is an E. And then there's a fielding average, which is AVG. So total chances is anytime a ball is hit to us. That's the number of chances we have to do something with. Assists is, let's say on a 4-3 putout, the second baseman, who's the 4 position, gets the assist. When they threw it to the 3rd position, which is the first baseman actually gets the put out. Okay. Also on a strikeout, the catcher gets the put out. So you would see catchers have, usually they have some of the highest number of putouts on a team. Okay. Number of errors that we have, and then average is the average, to make it easy, is total chances minus number of errors and then you take that number and you divide it by total chances. There's another more complicated way to get to do it, but we'll just say total chances minus error. So 288 minus 48. Then you take that number, you divide it by 288, the total chances that we have. Okay. So to go through this real quick, we have in the field, we've had 288 total chances so far. We have had 57 assists and 183 putouts. We've committed 48 errors as a team, and that means our fielding percentage is 833.833. So that means in the field, we're about 83% of the time we are fielding well. We're not making errors. What we would like to see the next time we look at these figures is the errors. We've committed 48 errors. That's a lot of errors for 16 games. Um, what we want to see is that number not get too much higher over the next 12 or 14 games. We don't want to commit another 30 or 35 errors or anything like that. We would rather commit like, 10 to 15 or even lower if we could. What that's going to do is it's going to make our average go up. So when you're looking at a really good high school team or college teams, um, their fielding percentage is 92, 93% and up. I mean, the really good ones are 95, 96, 97%. If you're looking at Major League Baseball, they're typically 98, sometimes 987, something like that, because they're really, really experienced and they're making very few errors. Okay. So now hopefully that helps you to see these are some of the statistics that you will see when you're watching on television or when people are talking about it, maybe you're reading about things. Maybe that will help you understand what we are doing as a team, but also by using the statistics that we have as a team to help understand and hopefully enjoy the game of baseball more when you're watching it either live or on television. Now, the last thing that I want to do is point out the differences in our statistics when we win versus when we have lost or tied. And so I think you'll look at this and you'll be it's not real surprising. It makes sense when you think about it a little bit, but we'll try to explain some of it. So what you're seeing here in this table, every column has two numbers. The number on top is our games that we have won. So the 9 games we've won. The number on the bottom is the 9 games we have either lost or tied. So we have 8 losses and 1 tie. So the number on the bottom is the losses and ties games. So 9. What's really interesting is you'll see in most of these areas the good statistics that we want, they're higher when we win, and the negative statistics are higher when we lose. Okay, so in the games we've won, plate appearances, we've made 224 plate appearances when we've won. We've only made 157 when we've lost because we're not, again, we're making errors in the field. We're not being efficient in the field and with our pitches, so that we're going to get fewer plate appearances, and we have quite many fewer plate appearances. We have 157 at bats when we've won, only 117 when we've lost. When we have won, we have seen 843 pitches to 641 when we've lost. So we've seen a lot more pitches in games that we've won. Now, some of that makes sense because we're staying at bat longer, but we might also be working counts better and seeing pitches better. And so when we extend innings, we're going to see more pitches, right? We have 95 hits in wins versus 26 hits in losses. And some of the losses that we've played, some of the teams have been really, really good, and we've played against some really good pitchers that shut us down, and that's going to happen. But overall, you can see we have a lot more hits. When we are hitting the ball, when we're making good contact, we put ourselves in a position to be successful. We scored 120 runs in our wins, only 28 runs in our losses and our ties. And one tie was we scored 10 runs. So if you take away that, it would only be 18. So basically, we've scored 18 runs in the games that we've lost, right? So that's a lot fewer. RBIs or runs batted in, we have 98 in games we've won versus 13 in games we've lost. We have struck out 24 times in games that we've won. Included in that is 11 looking strikeouts. In games that we've lost, we've struck out 42 times, so almost double close to double the number of strikeouts in games that we've lost. Versus, and we've had 15 looking strikeouts in games that we've lost. We've walked 56 times in wins and only 36 times in losses. So 20 fewer walks when we're in games that we have lost or tied. Look at our batting average. This is a really big difference. Our batting average in games that we've won is 605, so 60%, almost 61% of the time, we're getting on base via a hit. I'm sorry, versus .222 when we've lost. So only 22% of the time we've gotten on bases via hits and losses. Our on base percentage, 722 in wins, 420 in losses. So 72% of the time in games that we win, we're getting on base via a hit or a walk, hit by pitch, things like that, versus only 42% of the time that we're getting on base in games that we've lost. And it follows the same. Our slugging percentage is 847 in games that we've won versus 265 in games we've lost. Our OPS is over 1 in games that we've won, 1.569. It's under 1 in games we've lost, so it's .685. Quality at bats, we have 174 quality at bats in games we've won versus 90 in games that we've lost. So we have a lot more quality at bats in games that we have won. And if you look at our QAB percentage, or the percentage of quality at bats we have in games we won, we have 77.68, almost 78% of the time our at bats are quality at bats. So that's really, really good. That means we're seeing pitches, we're getting hits, we're moving runners over. We are having a quality at bat that contributes to the team. And remember, a quality at bat can be, even if you do strike out, but you work a count and you see 6 pitches, you foul off a few pitches, you see 7 or 8 pitches, and it ends in a strikeout or even a looking strikeout. That's still a quality at bat because you're helping the team out, you're helping your teammates out. Now, QAB in games that we've lost, only 57.32, so 57% of the time in games that we've lost, we have had a quality at bat. ISP O, remember, impact slugging percentage in games that we have won, it's 2.081. So we're moving about 2 bases per at bat versus 0.713. We're moving fewer than 1 base per at bat. ISPR, or impact slugging percentage, when runners are on base, we're moving about 2.3, or it's 2.358 in wins. So we're moving about 2.3 or 2.4 bases an at bat when we're winning versus 1.143 or a little more than 1 base when runners are on base when we lose. And then our contact percentage is 84.71%, so almost 85% when we're winning, and it's 64.1 or 64% when we're losing. So you could see, again, those statistics that we want to do well in, they're a lot higher when we're winning, and lower when we're losing. Those statistics that we don't want, like we don't want strikeouts as much, they are higher in games that we're losing versus games that we're winning, right? And also those looking strikeouts go along with that. Now, finally, getting to pitching and fielding as quickly as possible. In wins and losses, we've had 8 pitchers appear in both. 15 appearances in wins versus 25 in losses. That basically means in a loss, we're trying to put more people in, either to get out of a situation or to get more work at the end of games. So that makes sense a little bit. We've thrown 580 pitches in wins. We've thrown 828 pitches in losses. So you look at the number, I mean, we're well over 200 more pitches in a loss than in a win. We always talk about being efficient with our pitches and making the other team throw more pitches. So in wins, if you look at both tables, in wins, we have seen 843 pitches that have been thrown to us versus throwing 580 pitches to our opponents. In losses, we've seen 641 pitches thrown to us versus having to throw 828 pitches to our opponents. So that's a pretty big difference as well. Innings of 30 innings in a win, 28 innings in a loss. Batters faced, this would be another one that's kind of indicative. We faced 149 batters in wins. we face 216 in losses because remember, if we're committing errors or we're walking, that's more bases, that's more batters that we're having to face. That's more opportunity that they're getting to move people around bases and score runs. We've only given up 28 hits and wins. We've given up 53 in losses. And again, and several of the losses we've had, we have walked one or two people before giving up a hit. So again, as we talked about before, if we give up a hit and nobody's on base, well, that runner we can hold that runner at first. But if there's a runner on first and second, or second and third, or the bases are loaded, and somebody gets a hit, maybe we hold that runner at first, but two other runners have scored, and maybe that runner from first has moved to third. Okay, so when we walk people or when we commit errors, we're putting ourselves in a really difficult position. Our opponent's batting average, so the batting average against us is 224 in wins. It's pretty good. And it's 321 in losses. So it's a little bit higher in losses. And that 321 number is what it is because we're you will see we're committing a lot more or we're committing more errors and a lot more walks when we lose than when we win. We've struck out 54 people in wins, 22 looking strikeouts. In losses, we've struck out 29 and only 8 looking strikeouts. So the other teams are hitting well. They're having a good batter's eye. They're making good contact. We have given up 20 walks when we win. We've given up 44 walks when we've lost. So that's the biggest difference here. Is you put yourself in a situation where, again, you're putting runners on, and a hit can really hurt you then because it could be moving 4 or 5 bases instead of just one base. So we've given up more. We have more than we're giving up more than twice the number of walks in losses than we have wins. We've given up 31 runs in wins versus 95 runs in losses. And we have 13 earned runs in wins versus 48 earned runs in losses. Our ERA, so our earned run average per game, we're giving up it's 260 in wins, so we're giving up about 2.6 runs in a win versus 1029 or giving up over 10 runs in a loss. Our WHIP, or that measure of how many people are on base, is 160 in wins and 3.464 in losses. And so, again, when we're putting over three people on base in an inning, that makes it really, really difficult. And finally, with fielding, um, we have 132 total chances in wins, 139 total chances in losses. We have 34 assists in wins versus, I'm sorry, 24 assists in wins versus 34 in losses, 92 putouts in wins versus 81 in losses. We've committed 16 errors in wins. We've committed 24 errors in losses, so we've committed more. That means our fielding average is 879 in wins versus 827 in losses. So it's a little bit lower in losses because we're committing more errors. And so what I hope this does, one, it helps to help you understand the game more, maybe be more excited when you're watching things, either on television or in person, because you can kind of talk the talk of what people are talking about, and you can understand when people are saying things, and then also the last graphic, just to kind of understand as a team when we are playing well or when we win, it's because we're playing well, and to see the statistics of, hey, here are the things that happen when we win versus when we don't win, because everybody gets older, everybody plays more. One of the expectations is going to be understanding the game more, understanding situations, and understanding in a lot of ways what creates a winning opportunity. Remember, we talked about you can play great and not win. You can play bad and win sometimes. But usually, if you're going to win, you need to play really, really good. You need to play great to win. If you are not playing great, you don't give yourself as much a chance to be successful. And so hopefully seeing this helps. And I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. I'm looking forward to, if anybody has any questions over this, uh, players, parents, anybody, please let me know. I enjoy talking about this stuff to anybody. So I want to help people understand and appreciate the game more. So players, I hope this helps, and I will see you guys more in practice and the rest of the season. Bye.